No way that should have slipped where 7 felony bonds, a person was out. And I feel like my sister's blood is on their hands. She was on an ankle monitor and was told to stay away from her. Yeah. But was that ankle monitor being monitored?
It was supposed to be a day of celebration. July 1st, 2021 marked a milestone in Layla Steele's life. Her son Zeus was turning 1. As a young mother, she had been looking forward to the day, cherishing every moment of her baby's first year. But what should have been a joyous occasion turned into an unimaginable nightmare. That morning, the 24-year-old was outside her apartment complex in Houston, Texas, holding her son in her arms when a violent confrontation erupted. Her ex-boyfriend, Zacchaeus Rashad Gaston, approached her in the parking lot of the Apex at Royal Oaks Apartments. Witnesses later described an argument escalating between the two before Gaston pulled out a gun. In an instant, multiple gunshots rang out. Layla was struck several times while still holding baby Zeus. She collapsed to the ground as neighbors rushed outside, horrified by the scene. Miraculously, her son survived, though he suffered a gunshot wound to his tiny ankle, but for Layla, there was no second chance. The young mother, whose only crime was trying to protect herself and her child, died there in the parking lot. The tragedy was made even worse by the fact that Gaston should not have been free in the first place. At the time of the murder, he was out on 7 felony bonds, a shocking reality that would later ignite public outrage. Among his pending charges were assault on a family member, failure to register as a sex offender, and multiple counts of evading arrest. He had been ordered to wear an ankle monitor, but it did nothing to prevent the deadly attack. Family and friends were devastated. Layla had already taken steps to protect herself, having filed a protective order against Gaston. She knew the danger he posed, but the justice system had failed her. The very measures meant to keep her safe, the restraining order, the ankle monitor, and the multiple felony charges, were not enough to prevent her murder. Gaston, meanwhile, fled the scene, sparking a citywide manhunt. He managed to evade authorities for nearly 2 weeks before Houston police finally arrested him on July 14, 2021. He was charged with murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The community was outraged. Many questioned how someone with such a dangerous history could be repeatedly released on bond. Advocates for domestic violence victims argued that the system had failed Layla, as it had failed so many women before her. They called for stricter bail policies, demanding that repeat offenders and known abusers no longer be allowed back on the streets so easily. Layla Steele's death serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the gaps in the justice system and the dangers many women face when trying to leave an abusive relationship. Though her life was tragically cut short, her story has become a call to action, one that urges change in how the legal system protects victims of domestic violence. As for baby Zeus, he survived his injuries, but he will grow up without his mother. A child who should have been celebrating his first birthday with laughter and love was instead left motherless on the very day meant to be his happiest. The story of Layla Steele is a tragic one, but it is not an uncommon one. Until changes are made to truly protect victims, there will be more stories like hers. Stories of women who do everything they can to stay safe, only to be let down by the very system meant to protect them.
Zacchaeus Gaston has 2 more charges on his already lengthy criminal history. The 27-year-old has been charged with murder and aggravated assault. A warrant issued for his arrest states he fatally shot his child's mother, 24-year-old Layla Steele, last week as she held their son. Steele's sister, Jasmine, says Harris County failed her sister by repeatedly granting Gaston bonds.
7 charges wasn't nothing, maybe 2 more won't be anything either, so we just have to hold somebody accountable.
Steele died protecting Zeus, who turned 1 on the day of the shooting. It was bittersweet as families celebrated his birthday yesterday without his mother.
Maybe this a change, them just letting convicted felons out over and over again. 7 times? No, unacceptable.
Shirley Steele is Layla's mother. Court documents state the two were on the phone moments before the shooting. Shirley told investigators she heard Gaston curse at her daughter to get in the house. Layla yelled, quote, "Ma," before the call disconnected. 2 witnesses at the apartment complex told investigators they heard arguing and saw the couple fighting over a backpack. The witnesses say they saw Gaston use a pistol to shoot Layla 6 times as she was on the ground shielding their son. Gaston, who was wearing an ankle monitor, ran off and remains at large.
And I feel like it won't be over, but some peace will come to us, if he's caught dead or alive.
Well, we we don't know at this point was what was inside of that backpack. We do know that it was left here at the scene by Gaston along with his ID. Prosecutors asking that should Gaston be given ability to get bond in the future, they're asking that he not be granted a GPS monitor, access to the victim's family, or be able to possess a firearm.